If you search for leather tools online, it looks like you need a full workshop just to get started. Most leather projects come down to a few fundamentals: clean cuts, consistent holes, and strong stitches. Everything else is optional until it actually solves a problem you're having. So today, I want to talk through the leather tools I think actually matter at the start, the ones I would stick with if I had to strip everything back, and which tools I wouldn't even bother with yet. Leatherworking feels too heavy from the outside, but the process itself is pretty simple. The tools are just there to support accuracy and consistency. When things go wrong early on, it's rarely because a tool was not fancy enough. It's usually because the basics were rushed or overcomplicated. My goal with this setup is not speed or perfection, it's control. So let's talk about the first and most important thing, which is cutting. The most important tool in leatherwork is a sharp blade. Not a specific style of knife, just a sharp blade. I don't think you need multiple knives when starting out. A utility knife or craft knife with replaceable blades does the job well. What matters is changing blades often. Leather dulls blades faster than people expect, and a dull blade creates uneven edges, drifting cuts, and unnecessary frustration. I pair that with a proper cutting surface. A self-healing cutting mat protects the blade and keeps cuts clean. If you can cut straight, controlled lines, a lot of downstream problems disappear. Now let's talk about measuring and layout. The next thing I rely on constantly is accurate layout. For marking, I keep it simple. A scratch-all works well, but even a fine pencil is enough for most layout lines. The step doesn't feel exciting, but it is what keeps stitch lines straight and symmetrical. Clean layout makes average tools perform better. Next, let's talk about stitching setup. Hand stitching looks complicated at first, but the tool list is actually pretty short. I use stitching chisels or pricking irons, 2 blunt needles, and wax thread. That covers nearly everything. I don't think a stitching pony is required right away. It's definitely helpful later, but it's not necessary to learn good stitch control. What matters more than the tool itself is spacing consistency and hole alignment. If the holes are straight and evenly spaced, the stitch almost takes care of itself. This is also where I see people overbuy. Extra needles, specialty thread, and premium accessories don't improve technique. Time spent stitching does. Next, let's talk about holes and hardware. At some point, hardware enters the picture. For that, a basic hole punch setup is enough. A rotary punch or a small set of drive punches covers snaps, rivets, and simple hardware. As long as the hole is clean and the hardware fits correctly, the tool did its job. There's no need to over-engineer on this step early on. Lastly, let's go ahead and talk about edges. Edge finishing is where expectations usually exceed reality. I don't think you need a full-blown edge system to get clean results. A single edge beveler and something to burnish with is plenty. The burnishing tool can be wood, canvas, or even denim. The finish comes from pressure, moisture control, and repetition, not from complexity. And of course, you're definitely going to need some type of burnishing solution like Tokonol. Clean edges come from slowing down, not from buying more tools. And just to finish off this video, I want to talk about tools that I would hold off on. These are tools that I intentionally skip early on. First are large toolkits. They look appealing, but most of the tools in them never get used. They add clutter and decision fatigue without improving results. I also avoid power tools early on. They speed things up, but they hide mistakes, and those mistakes could be useful for feedback. Specialty tools can also wait until a project actually demands them. If I personally can't explain why I need a tool, then I'll just wait. So keeping this tool list small forces focus. It makes you pay attention to how leather cuts, how it stretches, and how tight tension affects the final piece. When you eventually upgrade tools, the upgrade is intentional. You know what problem you're solving instead of hoping a tool fixes everything. This is how tools become useful instead of distracting. So leatherworking does not require a massive setup. It requires a handful of reliable tools and the patience to use them well. If I miss something, let me know in the comments section. I want to hear your thoughts. And if you want to see more leatherworking content like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel or give me a follow if you're watching on TikTok. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.